Welcome to Sniffy Velo episode 5.
Pumped. I know my shit, but I'm getting pumped. Ja pöhisee ja pizza.
Today we have a special guest, Mikko Eerola. Welcome.
Thank you, Tomi. Hello, internet audience.
What does data-driven business mean to you?
I mean, what does business mean? Now, the way I see it is that data, of course, is a word that has suffered a lot of inflation recently because it's become such a buzzword that everything is about data, everything is data-driven, and if we look at businesses, they've been data-driven always. I mean, you've had your information on how the business is running, your KPIs, your reports, your what have you, and sort of that part has only progressed. Data has become real-time, the cost of cloud computing has come down exponentially, and all of those, everything is connected, so you can get real-time data and you can process it in real time and you can see it in real time. So that has sort of created this requirement of agility to leading businesses. So that on the one hand is what I think that data-driven business is about. But then on the other hand, data and sort of the data that we create as part of running businesses, it can create new business opportunities that are necessarily, they don't have to do anything with the old business. So you have this new natural resource that you can start developing and building new businesses.
True. But I see on the other hand, I see practicalities in my daily work that data-driven business, I feel that it's more cultural issue, that everyone has data. I mean, we collect data even on a personal level all the time. But the question is that are we really utilizing the real data for the real decisions that we should be doing? How do you see it in your daily work? That
My point as well, that you said decision making, but oftentimes it's not about decision making, it's about doing something, it's about reacting. So of course it's a cultural issue, whether all the people are equipped to act on the data they have and they receive. And it's a structural issue. Do we lead our businesses in silos, which then would prohibit, I'll use an example. Let's say that you have a customer facing business and you have maybe phone customer service and you have online and maybe you have even some physical retail stores for
so
instance.
basically an omni-channel business.
Yeah, if you want to put it that way. Oftentimes the data is in silos. So you have your online silo with its online data, you have your customer service with its own systems, its own data, its own KPIs, but its own also let's say management processes, and then you have your brick and mortar. And from the customer perspective, of course, the end consumer, there's no distinction between channels. You expect to have the same experience across the channels, and you expect that when you call customer service, they will know what you've said to the person on the chat online, right? And that's often a silo thing, and it's often a thing of how do you measure the different channels, or how do you look at the whole picture and enable people to really act in their work on the data generated elsewhere. That I see as a really big issue in many companies, and it's cultural, as you said. But often the structural aspect means that even if you wanted to share the data, you haven't built your business and your architecture so that you actually could. So these become unnecessarily complicated things.
True. So that's actually the backbone of your business, if you look at from the data-driven side of it.
So the backbone, you would say, is the capability
of having that data when it needs to be accessed, that you have it there. But I think the bigger issue is that if you bring data, let's say, to the person in the phone, giving a customer service or making any other decision, and the data comes, so the backbone's there. But if there isn't a culture that you've been taught to use the data to make the decision, it becomes useless. I mean, all your investments are totally in vain.
I agree.
Yeah.
Time when most of the data sense making happens still in the human brain, right? So you get a report, you get the data, and then you're expected to make sense of it, which is not really our forte as humans. We're not data crunchers. No, we are really good at recognizing patterns, and that's sort of one of the limiting factors for many companies. Which then brings us to another buzzword, which is AI, or more specifically, machine learning. So how can we take some of that cognitive load from the people working in the company, so that they get the insights rather than the raw material? Because that's where I see that a lot of companies are struggling, that they have reports, but the reports show a snapshot of a situation rather than a suggestion.
I'm no expert in AI, so let's make that one thing clear. There are other peoples to trust in this issue. But when it comes to AI, I also have a view that it's very important to make the real deep analysis made just on time, to be done by a computer. But that also brings us to the level that, are we confident that our AI is making the right decisions? And that becomes, okay, when you have billions of data points that it's been using to get the knowledge, you never know how it got the knowledge in most cases.
And most of the models are built by people, so they include the biases of the people. That is true, which is also why you shouldn't automate everything immediately and let the machine run itself. It needs human supervision and continuous correction. I agree on that.
Yeah. But that I also agree that when you get a suggestion, then it is more easy to make a decision. So that is between the backbone and the decision. You most likely need some kind of suggestion, even if it's a simple algorithm saying that up or down, do this or do that.
What some companies are doing, and which I think is a good thing these days, is that you have a seat on the board or on the management team reserved for the AI or their representation of it, meaning that they feed the same data to a model they've trained, and they see what kind of recommendations or prognosis that generates, and they compare it with the human-made insights and decisions, and so you can balance those two.
Or should companies see data as really the new oil? So I mean, it is a used metaphor. I get it, and I understand if you feel that it's a bit lame. But on the other hand, if you have enough data, right data, and you're proactively seeking for the right data, you are actually getting a competitive advantage. So do you see in your daily work that companies are turning more to that they are proactively looking for sources of data that might give them the edge?
I think it's more of an ecosystem play, in the sense that companies are looking at the whole supply chain or the whole ecosystem and seeing what kind of data is generated throughout the network, and how can that be combined in order to bring value to the entire network, or even, let's say, end to end, throughout, from the first company to the end. You have a lot of data points that might be useless on their own, but when combined, they can bring value to the whole entity. So that I see as one really crucial thing, and a change that we're seeing, that things are being a lot more interdependent.
People, if you need a good leader, executive as a service, contact Mikko Eerola. Thank you for today. Next episode, number 6. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Moi.